Tragedy if Janet disappeared and we didn't see her again.
Janet, you mentioned that these are the judges' chairs. Can you tell us a little bit about how they came to be in the new City Hall and how they were used in the old City Hall?
These judges' chairs were used by the Justice of the Peace in the old building from 1964 to 1968 when the district court system replaced the JP system. We brought them when we moved into the new building because we were short on furniture and wanted to bring a little bit of our history with us.
Jan was single when she became my boss. She was my boss for most of my time at Orchard Lake, and our voices were identical. My voice was a lot younger then, and fellas would call and they'd start flirting and coming on, and I'd let them go on for a couple minutes, and then I'd say, well, this is her mother speaking. And there would be a quick hang-up of the receiver.
We've also had many weddings in City Hall, including my own. I married my husband in 1981. The mayor performed the service. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law, our former police chief, David King, and his wife, Brenda, were married here. Sergeant Ron Thomas and his wife, Barbara, were married here in the City Hall, all by the mayor. And it must be pretty good because they all worked.
Monitoring the building and remodeling of homes and commercial buildings within the city, code enforcement, supervising DPW, and maintaining city services keeps Jerry McCallum very busy. Jerry has been the building official and superintendent of DPW since 2000 in the city of Orchard Lake Village. Jerry, can you tell us a little bit about where you were before you came to Orchard Lake and some of your duties here?
Thank you, Ann. Previous to coming to Orchard Lake, I worked for the city of Novi for 10 years. I was in the building department as a building inspector / commercial plan reviewer. Coming to Orchard Lake in 2000, I acquired the position of building inspector, DPW superintendent, and code enforcement officer. Each aspects of those duties entail different aspects of the city relative to city services. I like the fact that I came here and that there was a great amount of workload, and it was a good community to come to.
Describe some of the biggest challenges you've encountered in your last 11 years here.
Well, and some of the biggest challenges, I think, is going from a large community like the city of Novi to a small community like the city of Orchard Lake. The challenges relative to dealing with the individuals. You're dealing with them more on a personal basis, a one-on-one. The ordinances were somewhat of a challenging aspect also due to the fact that they are very complex ordinances and ordinances that we don't typically see in a larger community, more site-specific here in Orchard Lake. But the reason for the ordinances is to keep the beauty and the tranquility of the natural area of Orchard Lake. Sure.
Right. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the city in the last 11 years?
Probably some of the biggest changes had to do with the aspects of the building construction and tearing down existing houses and installing new structures. We are pretty much a built-up community here, so in order for these structures to be, larger structures to be built, they would tear down existing homes and or acquire adjacent property and build larger homes on there. But so that's probably some of the biggest changes we've seen here.
What will your new duties be as you assume and have assumed the title of Director of City Services?
Well, not only will I maintain the duties that I have now as building official, DPW superintendent, and code enforcement officer, but I will also be overseeing the financial aspects of the city relative to budget, relative to the tax rates and stuff like that. Granted, we do have a lot of committees that work behind the scenes that will help me out from that aspect, but probably, to sum it up in a nutshell, is the financial aspects of the city.
That'll keep you very busy.
Yes, it will.
What are your hopes for the future of the city? Do you feel that there's a certain vision that you're going to work on for the city in the coming years?
Well, as far as the vision goes, I think we have a great community here. We have great people in this community. We have good ordinances, and probably instead of being a vision, probably more of a maintenance is let's maintain what we've got now with the aspects of our ordinances to keep our tranquility of our woods and our lakes and water quality. Financially, I think the aspects of the financially is that we're a very stable community, and give our hats off to the previous council members and to Janet Green for keeping such a good fiscal responsibility for the expenditures and just to maintain that. We've got something good working here. Let's keep it.
Will you please share with us some of your special memories of working with Janet during the past 11 years?
Yes, Ann. It's very difficult with Janet Green because she's such a wonderful person, such a pleasant person to be around, not only here at City Hall in a work environment, but also in a social environment. Probably the best memories of Jan is going to be our morning coffee. That was time for her and I. We always started an hour early before the rest of the crew, and that was a time for her and I to catch up on aspects that happened the day before or what was going to happen the day of doing city business that day. And to discuss briefly our social night, what we did that night. Just a friendship time is what it was over coffee, and that will probably be one of my biggest memories, even though there are numerous other aspects that of memories with Janet Green, because she is such a wonderful person.
Jerry, as a resident of Orchard Lake, I have to say how grateful I have been for the wonderful expertise and the warm and caring way in which Janet dispensed information from behind the counter at City Hall. I'm grateful too, though, that this wonderful level of service will continue with you as Director of City Services because of your expertise and your terrific communication skills.
Well, thank you, Ann, for those kind words, and I do look forward to serving the citizens of this community, the City of Orchard Lake Village.
Jerry, we're standing in front of the original DPW building that is still in use today. I know over the years that it's had some unusual uses, having attended Planning Commission meetings and City Council meetings here. Can you tell us a little bit about the building and some of its past uses, but also what's happening in the building today?
Yes, Ann. This is one of the original buildings, as you indicated, on the City Hall site here. This was always originally the DPW garage, Department of Public Works garage. Not only did it house equipment way back when and a building for doing vehicle maintenance, but also had City Council meetings in here, Planning Commission meetings in here, and more importantly, the voting aspects of the community were held here in this building. Currently, right now, it houses all the DPW equipment for the day-to-day operations. The DPW personnel service all the vehicle in here, including all the patrol vehicles in this building, and that's what we use it for for the day-to-day operation. These guys are the ones in the wintertime out plowing snow at 2, 3 in the morning. They're the ones that keep the streets clean and make it safe for our citizens to get in and about the community. They also do other routine maintenance on roads, including ditch clean-out, culvert repairs, a little bit of everything. Vehicle maintenance. Greg Nelson's responsible for wiring all the patrol cars with all the lights and equipment and stuff in that. Richard does all the vehicle maintenance on our DPW equipment, etc. So kind of a wide gamut of stuff. Also taking care of city grounds, the sanctuary property, a little bit of everything to keep the community as it is today.
We're out here today taking a little tour of our nature sanctuary. It's 52 acres in the center of Orchard Lake. We have lake frontage on Upper Straits Lake and Orchard Lake. This property was purchased roughly 15 to 20 years ago from the Cranbrook schools in Bloomfield Hills. The word came out that Cranbrook was going to sell this property. They wanted to make some renovations around the school, and they were going to sell this to some developers. And some of the residents in Doug Cooper and Mary Ward, who originally owned this property, formed a Save the Sanctuary Committee and were able to acquire some funds to buy this property. And Janet Green and our old mayor, Leo Larkin, worked with the Department of Natural Resources Land Acquisition Fund, and we received $2.5 million to purchase half of this property, and the residents of Orchard Lake set up they taxed themselves. They had a vote and they taxed themselves to pay for the other $2.5 million. So basically this is a $5 million purchase for the city. It has a lot of great features. The prairie that I'm standing in, it has a lot of old 300-year-old oak trees. We have hardwood forest, we have some pine forest, and there's a couple of swamps on the property, so it's a very diverse 52 acres. I'm actually on the Sanctuary Board, which we meet every 3 months to make decisions on different issues that we do in here. Right now our biggest thing is we have some invasive plants that are coming in that we're removing. I come out every week and I check the trails to see if there's any downed trees. We do work on mulching the trails, and we try to keep it as close to, we kind of keep our hands off. We try to keep it close to nature as possible. This is more of a sanctuary for the animals and less concerned with people. We don't we discourage bicycle traffic. We don't have any joggers, dogs. This is more just for people to come out and enjoy nature. Janet Green was, she was like a sister or a mother. I've worked with her. She was here since day one, and we had a great relationship. And we would have, she was on the sanctuary board when I started, and I've known her forever, and sure miss her around the city, that's for sure. And she was very helpful, and she made sure all the bills were paid, and again, she made many trips up to Lansing with our old mayor to make sure that it was called the Land Trust Fund through the state of Michigan, the Department of Natural Resources. That's where we got $2.5 million, and her and our old mayor were very instrumental in getting those funds to purchase this. We had our first sanctuary meeting last month, and the first one that Jan wasn't there, and I think what I'm going to miss, and what the majority of the people are going to miss, is her incredible memory and knowledge of the history. There's nothing that's been done in Orchard Lake in the last 30 years that Jan didn't know about or had opinion on or could answer questions. And I think that's the one thing that's really going to be missed, is her history of the city. And she kind of ran the ship for a long time, and that's the one thing we are going to miss that, especially in our sanctuary.
A few things I like about Jan: she was a very awesome teacher. I've learned everything I know from her. She's very kind and patient. She'll be very much missed.
I was fortunate enough to have known Janet Green for the short 3 years I have been here, but those 3 years quickly went by like 3 minutes with the help of her problem-solving skills and her effervescent, over-bubbly personality. She was always there to help me, give me assistance, support me in all my endeavors, and most of all, did it with a great sense of humor, for which I truly appreciated. Janet, you have a great retirement, and now you have time to get to that sock drawer and organize it.
After 36 years of service in public service for any municipal government, my first response to that is congratulations, job well done. We all know how hard public service is. It's a special calling, and she's done a fantastic job. Words of wisdom: live every day like it was your last, because life is short and there's a lot that you still have to do.
So I hope she does a lot of fishing. She loves to fish, be in her boat, do a lot of golfing, enjoy life. She's worked hard and she's earned it, and I'm very proud of her career and Allison's career both. And I know that Janet will have fond memories of her work, her career, wonderful career here, the people that she met. It's been just something that I'm very proud of.
I have been blessed to have this career I've had in Orchard Lake, to work with wonderful, talented, supportive people. It's been a great ride, and I truly hope that our paths will cross again.
ma'am. How you doing today?
My last
You know why I stopped you today? Too fast leaving the parking lot. I got to write you a citation here today.
Thank you. Thank you. City of Orchard Lake. Jan, she's retired as of June 30th. This is Rhonda McClellan. I'm the new city clerk. What may I help you with?